part of our simulation tools that we have developed in order to help institutions, course provider, and even teacher in their ways of transferring information to their student is called the Live Case Study Hub. And that platform focus on replacing the traditional case study that you distribute in class, for example, that would be a written case study. And then people would work with the written information pretty much, on their own and discussing it and try to come up with a solution. Now what we do the same, a little bit the same thing. We start by providing a written case study. We defining a context, and the student have an interactive way of engaging with the case. Meaning, the case go beyond just giving you information, allow you to test certain things, certain theory that you might have, certain solution that you might think are be good, and therefore you could really push the case to another level if you are a teacher and you want them to really explore different alternative and give you the best solution. And that's the idea. It's not necessarily a simulation on this one. This one is more an interactivity that we're giving to the teacher with the student, but also from the student itself with the tool being able to evaluate different case. So the Live Study Case Study Hub is very adaptable to any case study. And it's if you have a case study that you're doing in class, you want to make it more interactive. So yeah, it's very easy for us. We could bring it on our platform, and we create that interactivity with the student and yourself too. You could even provide help with an AI agent if you want. That would be the coach. But to me, if you go that distance, it kind of remove a little bit your intent of really testing their knowledge about whatever theory that you taught them, if they really understand or not. So again, the AI coach will be your decision. Do I bring an AI coach to help them with it? But it's possible. It's very easy to add, actually. And it's going to be up to the teacher to decide to do that. Now, just for this demo, I'm just going to show you a couple that we have here. And then from that point, you'll understand the principle. Of course, I'm not going to resolve the case study because those are case studies we're using in our class right now. I'm using them and other teachers are using them. And I've limited to 3 because some of the case study use real name of companies and real project and real situation that happen. And without their consent, I cannot share that. So again, let's be careful on protecting the name of the people involved. That's why the case that we have here, we kind of, removed any reference to company, and they could be from any organization. So they're pretty, vanilla, let's call it this way. But again, we have many more than these 3, but for now, we got 3. Scoping and estimation is going to be one where it helped the project manager that is starting to understand what kind of requirement can you expect to see based on an interview that you have with your stakeholder. So in this one, for example, you would having discussion with stakeholders, and the answers provided by the stakeholders are triggering requirements, and these requirements are triggering deliverables, and these deliverables are triggering kind of a benchmarking of similar duration to do that deliverables, activity lists that you would need for that deliverables, and also trigger some already estimate in terms of budget to do it. Keep in mind, those are benchmark, but it helps you at least capture rapidly on a project with just engaging and having discussion, what could be my my requirements and what could be the high level duration of it, what could be the high level budget, what could be a high level schedule also, because if you have the activity list, chances are you're going to be able to have that kind of high level schedule. So again, it gets you started. And then after that, you could go on and validate with your stakeholders and the team the estimates that you have there, etc. So it gets you really fast in the planning on the first one. The second one is the governance. Governance means what? Means in a certain stage in your career, you're going to have to evaluate project that you're receiving, project that people are submitting to you. And as you may grow and become a director or part of an executive committee, you will have to look at the information being provided to you by project manager and decide, is that good enough? Okay, should we allow this project to continue with the information we have? So you have to be able to play a role as governance. And that's the case here. So we're placing the student where they're receiving from a project manager, they're receiving a case, a project charter, and a project management plan. And your job is to assess what you're receiving. You could even play with it and, have few things if you feel it's missing something. But you have to make a decision. And the decision is, do I let this thing go or no? Okay. So basically, do I pass, let's call it the gate, to the next phase, or no? And I want some fix, and here are the fix I would recommend that you do. So again, you cannot just say no. You have to tell them why you're saying no and where are the issues they need to work on. But sometimes you want to test these issues yourself. You want to test your own suggestions. So you could play with the project plan, you could play with the charter and try to come up with a solution, and then you could, refer to them. So of course, the students could do that as an individual or as a team, and play their role as governance. It's also good also for executives sometimes to be aware. What should I be looking at? What kind of reasoning that I need to apply when I'm looking at a charter and a project management plan? Sometimes they could be pretty big. You're going to see. We're going to do this one in this video where I'm going to show you what's in it. There's quite a bit of information. Could be very easily thinking, hey, it's pretty good, it's got everything. But in fact, we actually plant intentionally some area where it doesn't work. And you need to fix that before you move on. And therefore, any governance should find out about these things, but also any experienced project manager should detect these problems that they are. The third one is something very complicated, is building a portfolio. This is very tough to teach in class. Anybody that are trying to teach how to build a portfolio, you're going to be struggling, I can tell you that. Just with spreadsheet is very tough. So again, in this one, we're going through the process of creating a portfolio from the beginning, capturing the opportunities, making sure we got all the information. Then once we have captured the opportunities and document it into a sort of an opportunity assessment, that looks like a charter, but it's an opportunity assessment. You have the opportunity assessment. Now you're going to have some scoring criteria that in order to verify how good it is to link to the strategic objective of the organization. So these criteria will be discussed with your management and your executive committee in terms of what are the key criteria that will ensure that we're in line with what you have as objective and strategic objective. And then you will be scoring these projects on that. Once you have scored them, some of them will be better than others, then you're going to need to look at your resource. What kind of resource you're going to need to do that, and what kind of resource you have available in the whole organization to do these projects. Because it's good to have 20 projects, but can you do them all with the resource you have? And this is where resource management, basically resource allocation, looking at your capacity, looking at what's stopping you on which project, what kind of resource is blocking you, before you decide, hey, let's start this project, and right away you got a problem with resource. So again, that's an example of doing that, and the students got a whole bunch of projects already listed there, and then they have new initiative, and they have to go in and then try to find out these new initiatives. Let's document them so they got information to do that. After that, let's score them using the criteria that was provided by the executive committee, and then let's see, do we have the resource to do it? Okay, and that's pretty much the whole case. Obviously, the answer to this will be a recommendation on which project should go ahead. We have the resource and they strategically link to the organization goal, and which one we don't have the resource to do them, or they're not scoring enough. So we're going to keep them in the list, but we're not going to make them move into planning and execution. So again, that's example. We got others that we could tackle, regarding different things we want to test, and like, for example, project management office, etc. So you could pretty much bring any case study that you have, and we're going to try work with you to build the interactivity with the student. So actually you place the student into a real situation. Now let's take a look at what it looks like from a student perspective starting a case study. So first, there would be the case brief, okay? So the case brief stay the same. It's a written case. Here's an example here of one. You would have the case here that's telling you, here's the situation, that you're going to be facing. What is your role? Accessing the project document, how you can access all of this, the link to the tool, your team, etc. Your task, your deliverables. So what is it that you have to deliver out of this? Now you could bring an AI to evaluate if you want and give a note to this. I keep it for myself, yet I'm not putting the AI to evaluate, but it's very easy to give there's the check sheet, which is the answer sheet for the teacher. You could load that into an AI and ask AI to do the correction for you if you want, but I prefer doing it so it allows me to find out if they understood. So basically, on this one, the key output they need to do is to write an email to the project manager as the executive leader that reviewed the project. And first of all, writing it professionally. And if you have a problem with something, present the problems that prevents you to say go to this and you would like to see fixed. If you have run some different scenario to fix the issues as an executive because you have experience and you saw it and you say, well, easily, I'm going to fix that this way. You could tell them that, in the email, say, for example, I've run this scenario, I've connected this, etc., and it would work. Let me know if that's, acceptable for you. So, etc. So it's an interaction where you're giving feedback to the student based on your analysis, and you want them to get back to you with a clarification in terms of what they want to do. Hopefully, they get to a point where you could approve it. It's satisfying to your knowledge. Then once you're there, once they read the case, then you're ready to go. So you open the case. It brings you to a menu because you can have by team, okay? I like to do these cases as a team, allow them to discuss it, etc. And because it's online, they don't have to do it in class. You could also ask them to do it during the week until the next class. And they very easily, they register their team. They pick one password and they share it with themselves. So the only one that could go into their working zone is them. And once they have entered it, so this is what they see. So basically, the first thing that appears is a dashboard of their project plan. But I want to look at the project charter first, so I would switch it on the top left. I would go to the charter, and then I would take a look here at my enterprise portal modernization. Here, I've got an ID for objective, 5 constraint, 2 risk, my sponsor, problem, opportunity. Well, let's get in more detail. Here's the problem and opportunity. Here's the proposed solutions we're going to be doing. The business objectives that are listed there, the constraint we're dealing with, the high-level risk, the success criteria that we'll be using, the assumptions, and the sign-off. Okay, so again, This information gets provided to all students. This is their starting point. They have a charter to work with. Okay, the charter's got certain things that they need to meet, because this is the reason why we're investing in this project, and this is what we expect to get out of this investment in this project. So again, it's got to be clear, especially on objective. What do we really want to achieve with this project? Then the project plan needs to be able to connect to that project charter and make sure that what I have there in terms of project plan will allow me to meet these objectives, these business objectives, while staying within the constraint that I have for this project in terms of budget, time, in terms of resource, technical aspect, etc. So now I've got the project plan that have been submitted by the project manager. So I've got both. I got the charter, the project manager submitted its project plan. You got an overview, as kind of a dashboard of his project plan. The stakeholders that he had identified and their needs, or if you want their requirements, transfer here. So their needs are transferred into a requirement. The scope that goes with it. And then from the scope, you start working the schedule. Connected to that schedule is his quality plan in green. So in the schedule, the green part is his quality plan. He's got the risk, okay, here. And the risk is there in orange. And the communication is not there. So, oops. Probably there's a problem there. Okay, procurement, and obviously in the schedule, and you get your procurement. So the point is, the resource that he's planning to use, and the resource histogram, the budget that he's going to have, and it's pretty much it. Okay, so again, that's a project plan. Okay, it's got a lot of stuff. It's got a detailed budget here by phase. It's an L-shaped type of a budget. Per week, and we have the schedule that goes with the budget here. You have built in your quality, the risk, the communication. I think we spot the communication is missing. You got the scope, you got the requirements, you got the stakeholders. So you got all the element. Now, as an executive committee, that might be tempted to say, well, this is pretty good. We got everything, right? It's following the PMBOK. It's got all the pieces. Really, this is where you need to develop that skill of finding out, okay, issues that might appear, okay? And, of course, I'm not going to give the answer on this one now because, maybe some of you will want to do it later. But there's obviously some issues that are obvious. Okay, and we didn't make it. There's maybe 7 issues, but 3 of them that are gating issues that should prevent anyone to accept this, that would ask to these 3 to be fixed. The others could be, we could live with them, but 3 that are a must, and you need to find them. So again, it's just an example of one of the live case study. If I am the executive, I could fix that. I could jump in and maybe fix an area like communication that doesn't seem to be there. I could also detecting that something is not matching with the charter, and I would fix that. Or I could modify the charter to fix better. So again, we could work to make sure that everything works and ready for approval. So this is an example of a case. Of course, I'm not going to solve it. If you are the instructor, you're going to have the answers to all of it, and you will be able to evaluate the students. It's the same thing for the portfolio. You get into a situation like this, you get a briefing, and then you go in and you do the things. Same thing with the scoping and estimation. In any case study, you get the briefing start, and you play in an interactive way with it.